Okay, hi guys. Yeah, I'm back. Done all that Christmas stuff. Life's been pretty hectic, but today, not here to talk about any of that. I did that last video. Today, I am here to talk to you about a TV show, because I mean, nobody's ever talked about TV shows before, have they? Nah, mate. Do not be confused. This is entirely original. And not because I really felt that I had to talk about Aidan Turner's six-pack. No, of course not. I apologise if you can see my pyjama bottoms. Pyjama party! Whoop. Anyway, so was it last night or 2 nights ago? At the time that you're watching this, it was probably 2 nights ago. The conclusion to And Then There Were None aired. So it was a 3-part series which was an adaptation of Agatha Christie's probably most famous work, And Then There Were None. Which I really love that title, by the way. It's genius. But anyway, I mean, you kind of knew it had to be good when you see that the cast includes Aidan Turner, who he's a god among men, and you've got Charles Dance, aka Tywin friggin' Lannister. So you can't particularly go much wrong. And then you've got Burn Gorman. Oh, he was Owen in Torchwood, and I'm in love with him. He was also Hindley in the, I can't remember what year it was, but it was the adaptation of Wuthering Heights with Charlotte Ridley? Charlotte Ridley? Yeah, and Tom Hardy. And you also have Toby Stephens, who is one of my favourite Mr. Rochesters ever. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be good, it's going to be great, it's going to be awesome. And I was not disappointed. The thing about the BBC adaptations is they are so beautiful. The cinematography it's better than some films at the current time. It is just beautiful. It's kind of a return to filmmaking that is a work of art. It's just really beautiful. Same can be said of the adaptations of An Inspector Calls, The Scandalous Lady W and Lady Chatterley's Lover. All of them are so beautifully shot. It is definitely a return of filmmaking as an art form, which is fantastic. However, it depends on whether it becomes style over substance. And even though there were a few moments where I was a bit like, has artistic direction somewhat marred the actual content? But then it got itself back on track, and I was just like, thank God. Yeah, the cinematography was beautiful. The adaptation itself, I really liked the ending they went with, because for those of you that don't know, there are 2 endings for And Then There Were None. There's the ending which Agatha Christie originally wrote, which we are entering the territory I like to call the spoiler territory. So if you don't want to know anything about what happens with the plot, you don't want to know what happens in the adaptation, don't really know what to suggest for you then, really. Well, it's been nice seeing you again. Enjoy the rest of your day. But if you kind of want to know, if you've either read the books, seen the adaptation, or just really don't care, now we get started. So the original ending was that all of the characters end up dead, hence fulfilling the ending, the poem, and Then There Were None, which I think it makes more sense to happen that way. However, there was a stage version of the ending which entailed Vera and Philip getting off the island. Naracoorte? Is that his name? He comes and rescues them, and Wargrave dies, so those two are the only survivors. Which, to me, it seems like more of a cop-out. If you want the emotional impact of the story, you have to have every character dies. Nobody gets a free ride, even though it was quite emotional when good old Blore died. R.I.P. Blore and your allotment. Ah! Anyway, moving on. So I was pleased with that. I haven't read the book myself, so I don't know if it was accurate having Vera and Wargrave have a last discussion as she is trying to stop herself from hanging, or being hung or hanged, or something to that effect, which is, and then one little Endian, let's go with that. One little soldier went off and hung himself, and then there were none. I just think that ending works better, and I think my only sort of issue was with the pacing and whether it really needed 3 episodes. Some of the content you could tell was just filler, because it's just all of them sort of looking quite shiftily at each other, and you start to think, it's getting a bit slow, a bit ploddy in places, and then stuff will happen, and then they'll have another little bit where they're just sort of staring at each other. And that was most pronounced, I feel like, in the 2nd episode. The only thing I could see that would have worked better would have been to not have 3 one-hour episodes. Potentially have 2 one-hour episodes, or 2 1.5 hours, which would be the same length. But if you had 2 1 hours, you could have got a lot more done. It wouldn't have been so much filler, which, I mean, I did enjoy it, regardless of the moments where I swear there was about 3 minutes dedicated to just sort of double vision of certain characters. And there was so much focus on Vera and her story that if you haven't read the books, or you haven't read the book, or you didn't look on the Wikipedia page beforehand, which of course I did not do, then it's very difficult to know exactly what happened in each person's story. So Vera you have a very clear idea of. Lombard you don't necessarily have to show. He's sort of the enigma, but you do know that he's killed 21 people. You don't really need to know anymore. You see what happens with Blore's story, because he gets quite a bit devoted to him. It was very difficult to understand what was going on with the general story and with the, I can't remember her name, the older woman's story. It was, you spend so little time with them that when they die it's just kind of like, oh, okay. I don't actually understand why you were on this island in the first place, but oh, okay, I guess you're dead now. Great. But then again, I don't know if that's something that happens in the source material too. Vera is portrayed kind of as the protagonist, so it's only natural she would get more of a focus, but I think it would have been, even to take creative license or artistic license for some aspects of the other stories. Because I know for a fact, I looked on that bloody Wikipedia page, it does go more into depth about what happened to the general. I think that would have been interesting to show, but that was kind of cut out. You only see a brief little thing, and next thing you know, he's dead. I think even Marston, who's the first character to die, he gets more focus than poor old General Mr. Sam Neill gets. I don't understand, but I think the developments they did make were interesting, It was, overall, it was a beautiful, when I say beautiful, it's, my interpretation of beautiful is probably quite different. Like, I was talking to my mum about it, and she was saying she didn't like it because it looked quite dirty, quite depressing. There aren't many bright colours. I think there's only one example of a bright colour, and that's Vera's swimsuit, which you can kind of get the metaphorical red as the symbol of danger and blood, and it's what she wears when Cyril dies. But apart from that, it's very, very cold. The colour palette is very cold, which I like. I think, like, when, well, it's probably a very bad example to compare it to, but with the 2011 version of Wuthering Heights, the cinematography was very cold. And also with Macbeth, with Michael Fassbender, that came out in September. God, this year's gone fast. Ooh, Nelly. I do like things where they use a very cold colour palette, and I also like it when they use a very vibrant colour palette. It's weird. I like it when they definitely go for colour for a certain effect, which was utilised amazingly. So I'm thrilled with it. It was beautiful. There were 2 added sex scenes in there, but one of them was with Aidan Turner, so, you know, I'm not exactly complaining. Probably sound very, very stalkerish, but I mean, Aidan Turner, Mitchell in Being Human, and Killy in The Hobbit, one of the only dwarves in The Hobbit I would marry. Either him or Philly, but we all know how that ends. It's too painful to talk about, so I'm going to move on. And Poldark, so gorgeous, gorgeous man that he is. So I don't know if Agatha Christie would be exactly thrilled with the addition of 2 sex scenes, but it did her source material proud. Not that I've actually read it, so I can't really say, but it was the adaptation this work deserved. So overall, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would say probably a 7.5 to 8, which is still amazing, but there were some pacing issues and there were some bits of the story that were missed out that I feel were kind of integral. Apart from that, it had beautiful cinematography, the acting was amazing, but word of advice, if you don't want your big reveal to kind of be predicted, don't cast Tywin Lannister in the role, because as soon as that shifty little bastard comes onto the screen, it's like, well, Tywin Lannister in it, it's going to be him. So I may have been able to predict that Wargrave was the killer based on that. Might have just been me. But yeah, I was just kind of sitting there just like, yeah, he's definitely the killer. So anyway, 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I will be back with my review of the Sherlock Christmas special, which is called The Abominable Bride, which I'm really excited for. A return to a Sherlock series set in its original era. I'm interested to see why they're doing it. I guess it'll be fun, but it's just kind of like, it's set in modern day. Why is there just this random anomaly? But I'm sure Moffat, being the master of mindfuckery that he is, he will find some way to make it work. Anyway, that has been all for today, guys. Leave a like and a comment telling me your thoughts on And Then There Were None. Sorry if you don't live in the UK. I'm sure they'll show it in America. Not entirely sure. We can but hope, because nobody should be deprived of Aidan Turner wearing a towel like a sarong. Oh, be still my beating heart. Anyway, see you on New Year's Day, guys.